follow whatever is here, right? You scroll up and down. See, when I go there, you just scroll it, and then when I'm presenting it, I'm talking about it, you just, and then when I'm not talking about it,
We got you.
yeah, the top button. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Blessed be the mighty King. We thank the Most High King of the universe, creator of all things and everything, Yehovah. I'm grateful to this mighty King for my life, the life of Kobe Yisrael, scattered in the four corners of the earth. And I pray that the Most High God continue to be with us and bless us. So the portion that we're going to today is Terumah, which is on the screen. I'm not a Hebrew expert, but I tried my best. I had one brother told me that for someone who don't know, he tells me I don't know any Hebrew. He told me I'm the most argumentative. I'm the most argumentative non-Hebrew knowing person in the world. He said, I argue with him and I don't know nothing. He said, he told me, he said, that's like me arguing with you about Spanish. You know Spanish, you understand it, and I argue with you about Spanish. He said, stop arguing with him about Hebrew because I know nothing. That's what he told me. That's harsh, but it's right. Maybe seated. Thank you to Most High God for my life, the life of Kobe Yisrael. So you might, if you see, sometimes the program, for some reason, I don't know why, after I finalize it, the program throws everything in reverse. So it might, I'm not sure if it's in reverse. I'm good? All right. So the name of the portion today is Terumah, which looking up, I thought it meant offering, but after doing, it says, the same brother told me, it's more than just offering. Right. He said that it's like an exhortation or a gift offering, right? So it's more than just offering. So thank you to that brother once again. I won't mention his name because I just won't mention his name. We thank the Most High God for understanding, and I pray that the Creator will continue to be with us and bless us. So these are just pictures, Chief, so I didn't send it to you. All right, you could go. Unless you want it, I could send it to you.
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 25, starting from verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Yehovah spoke unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they take for me an offering. Of every man whose heart maketh him willing, he shall take my offering.
So these are free will offerings. These are not just offerings or gifts that you're going to give if someone has to force you. Someone has to tell you, you need to bring this up. I said, no, out of your heart. It's whatever you do for God, it has to be out of your heart. You have certain stipulations and offerings that God says we must make for the new moon, for the Shabbat, for the holy days. But this in particular, what we're about ready to do, it has to come from your heart. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to see what is it that we're going to do. Let's go.
And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skin dyed red and takash and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set for the ephod and for the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the furniture thereof, even so shall ye make it.
So the pattern, go to that next slide here. So just on me. So this is the pattern of the tabernacle right here. Right? And go over here. That's the pattern. We have, if we see, it says the tabernacle came. Oh, yes. Sorry. So we see the tabernacle as this is the entrance over here. Where it says entrance. This is the entrance. We come in, the altar burnt offering, the laver, and then we come into what we see as the holy place, and then the inside is the most holy place, which we call the Holy of Holies. And as we go along, we're going to see how everything is set up. So just the way the pattern is set up, the way you see it is the way everything would be set up in the tabernacle: north, south, So this would be, I guess, east and west, right? If we're looking at the map, north, south, east, west, right? So this would be the pattern of the tabernacle, unless I'm looking at it reverse, but this is what it is. So we got 6 articles. Some people say 7 because if we include the tablets, and we include the Aaron's rod and the manna that we were supposed to have in there also. So they count all that as one. So they said there's 7 articles that go into this tabernacle. So this is the pattern of the tabernacle right here, the layout. So if you are general contracting, you get your architect, right? You get your architect to make up a blueprint or a pattern. This is what it might look like, something like this. Now, as you get into the detail of everything else is going to be detailed. The measurements, what you need, how big it needs to be, how much space you need to put your cabinets, how much space you need to put this, how much space you need to put that. So this is the pattern right here, or the measurement, or what we will call the blueprint. Let us go.
Verse 10. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof.
All right, 2 cubits, and they shall make the ark of acacia wood. So the measurement of a cubit is anywhere between 18 inches to 20 inches. So we're talking about 2 cubits and a half. We're talking about 2 cubits. That would make it, rounding it all to 20 inches each cubit. So that would be 20, 36 will make it 3 feet, right? 36 inches will be 3 feet, right?
Yes.
36 inches and a half. Let me say about 4 feet long, about a little bit less maybe. Yeah, 4 feet long. So 4 feet is, it's not really that. I wish I would have brought a measuring tape so we could see the measuring. But 4 feet, just think about most is about right here. 4 feet is about right here. Right. Yeah, all right, so maybe about right here, 4 feet, right? And then it says, read on.
And 1 cubit and a half the height thereof.
Cubic and a half the height thereof. That means it's only about 30 inches tall. So 30 inches tall will be like a little bit under 3 feet, right? Somewhat, not a little bit, but like 2 feet and a half or something like that, to that manner. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give it in the way that we understand it, because when you hear cubits, you're going to be like, what is this talking about? Let's go.
And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold.
And thou shalt
within.
overlay it with pure gold.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you make sure. So there goes a picture of it. Overlay it with pure gold. Go ahead.
Within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shall make upon it a crown of gold round about.
Right, so what's going to happen is you're making a box of acacia wood, right? Oh, thank you, sir. You're making a box of acacia wood. That's why the Most High asked for there you go. That's what I'm talking about. My brother Prince Benjamin taught our boss. So he's talking about 4 feet. Let's see. This is 4 feet right here, right? This is the measurement of 4 feet right here. So that's how long it would be, right? So we're talking about the length of it. So it's a nice size. It's not nothing too small, but it's a nice size, So we'll go along and we'll look for measurements as we go along. So we got it's made out of acacia wood and it's overlaid with gold. So we're talking about basically the box. Right. We're talking about the box. This is what it's describing now. Go ahead, Chief.
And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it.
4 rings of gold.
And put them in the 4 feet thereof.
3, 4. Put them in the feet thereof at the bottom part. Let's go.
And 2 rings shall be on the one side of it. And 2 rings on the other side.
On the other, as is showing here. Let's go.
And thou shalt make staves of acacia wood
and
overlay them with gold.
The staves are carrying poles, right? And you shall overlay them with gold. So all of this, the reason why they're using acacia wood is if you see the characteristics of acacia wood is it's good with weather. It's like almost, there's like, when you go to Panama, there's this wood called cocobolo. The indigenous people use it. What they do is when you cut that wood, you begin to shine it, and it will look like it was varnished. You take a rag and you begin to shine it, and it turns dark, and it becomes water resistant. The wood, after you take the bark off of it, you shine it. These people shine it, and it becomes smooth, and it becomes water resistant. So I always think of acacia wood as being something that doesn't rot. That doesn't rot. You understand? Like when you build in a bathroom, right? When you go as a contractor to build in a bathroom and you use wood in a bathroom, you can't just use regular 2x4. They got this special treated 2x4 or plywood. It's called green board or green wood, and you put that in bathroom because it's resistant to water. It won't rot because it's moisture, right? So if you put regular plywood in there, eventually the moisture in the place is going to make it rot, and stuff is going to begin to collapse. So they put this green wood in there because it's treated in order to not rot. So therefore, this acacia wood had to be something that was able to take all types of weather resistant, certain things, because you never know when it was going to rain, when things were going to happen, and you couldn't have something that was dedicated to the Creator rot on you. And to secure it, you overlaid it with gold. You covered it with gold. You beautified it with gold. The Most High God requires the best from us. He requires only the best from us, right? So keep reading, my brother.
And thou shalt, verse 14, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings on the sides of the ark wherewith to bear the ark. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it.
They shall not. Very important. People, because you just thinking, you think that, once they lay the ark down, that they take the staves out, and that's it. They said, no, you should not remove them. That means that box, you don't touch that. Only thing you're doing is you picking it up, putting it on your shoulders, you walking with it. When you get to wherever, after they put up that tabernacle and they do all that, you put it down and you leave the staves in it. Let us go.
And thou shalt put into
go
the
back
ark,
to the ark.
And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make an ark cover of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof.
It's the same measurement as the box because the cover has to fit. So this is the box. This is the cover. Right? So it's describing everything by detail, one by one. So it's saying, now you put the cover over it. Let's go.
And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold, of beaten work shalt thou make them at the 2 ends of the ark cover. 2
cherubim. I think cherubim are different than malachim, but most people say cherubim are angels, but it clearly describes cherubim. It says wing entities over the box, covering the box, and you making a cover, and they sit at the top of that box. Let's go, that cover.
And make 1 cherub at the one end and 1 cherub at the other end. Of one piece with the ark cover shall ye make. So
this is a detailed piece of gold that you have. Whoever the crafts person was had to make it out of one piece, mold it out of one piece. It could not be made pieces and then welded together. Right. It said one piece. So it took some skill.
Yeah.
It took some understanding of how to work with gold and how to make it pliable in order to make all these things happen. Let us go. Read on, my brother.
Of one piece with the ark cover shall ye make the cherubim of the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim shall spread out their wings on high.
They spread out their wings on high.
Screening the ark cover with their wings, with their faces one to another. Toward the ark cover shall the faces of the cherubim be.
The faces of the cherubim be. So now, the reason why they're facing each other, right, that I could surmise, because it doesn't give an explanation, in the middle of them is what we know as what? The mercy seat. And it says that that's where God dwells. So they are constantly paying, or showing that you're constantly paying obeisance to the Creator, and you're constantly praising the Creator. Because if the Creator dwells in between In the mercy seat, which is not really it's not a chair or anything there, but this is where it says Most High God dwells, right? And between the cherubim, and he dwells there. So this is symbolism of they're constantly praising the Creator or constantly prostrating themselves before the Most High King. Let us go.
And thou shalt put the ark cover above upon the ark. And in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee.
The testimony which I shall give thee, which was when I spoke about it last week, that contract we entered in with God, those 10 words that they received on that tablet, that is the testimony. That's the testimony that we received, and we signed that contract with the Most High God. So God said, this is like a safety box. You ever see a safety box in your home? You keep your deed to the home, your mortgage papers, you keep your insurance paper, you keep valuable things, your jewels and all that. So this is where we're going to store our valuable thing. And the most valuable thing we got is the agreement that we made with the Creator. Right. That he'll be our God and we'll be his people. So at this time, God is saying, now I gave you, now this is, I believe, the second set of tablets, because the first set of tablets Moses broke them, right? When he came down from the mountain. So now, second set of tablets, now you're going to store them in there. There's some writings that say that also the broken tablets, because God wrote on them, you wasn't going to just discard them. So it said, and this is not written in the Tanakh, but it says that they kept them somewhere around because they wouldn't know how to dispose of that, because the Most High's God, that was holy. So you just wasn't going to throw that into the wind, right? Or throw it into, discard it in some place or whatever. So some people say it was buried. Some people say it was probably put on the side of the ark or whatever, and they just kept it. But right now it's describing what's inside of there. Let's go.
And there I will meet with thee, and I will speak with thee from above the ark cover.
From above the ark cover.
From between the two cherubim which are upon the ark of the testimony.
As you see it, that's why I said the mercy seat. That's what they call the mercy seat. Let's go.
Of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Yisrael.
The children of Yisrael, let us go.
Verse 23. And thou shalt make a table of acacia wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make unto it a border of a handbreadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Close by the border shall the rings be for places for the staves to be at the table.
So what we see here is the table of showbread. Ashulchan Lechem, right? So now we have the showbread, which is unleavened bread, that's presented, I believe, is every Shabbat, right? If I'm not mistaken, every Shabbat is presented. It stays there. It stays there for a week, and then it's eaten, and fresh one is put every Shabbat by the priest who's working in there. So we see the table is not that high. It has staves in it. You got to have staves in it in order to carry it. And this is also made out of acacia wood and is overlaid with gold. Let us go. Read on, my brother.
And thou shalt make the staves of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them.
Borne with them.
And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and the pans thereof, and the jars thereof, and the bowls thereof, wherewith to pour out of pure gold.
Pure gold.
Shalt thou make them.
God requires perfection. God, he said, when we get to the point when we begin to talk about the priest, right? You will begin to see that the way he decked them out, linen, gold, sapphire, rubies, and all that. That's why we're the people that we are. As soon as we get money, I said it before, them young boys go get the nicest chains. They go get, they get gold in their mouth. Diamonds in your mouth. So we're going to overdo it. You know what? Put diamonds all in the chain. Before, it just used to be, if you had a nice chain, Cuban link chain, you got a nice piece with, you put some ice on it. Them young boys say, you know what, we're going to take it overboard. Yeah. Put ice all in the chain. Yeah, put ice in my chain and flood it just all out. And now they discovering rubies and all these things that are beautiful. This is, God said from the beginning, when he made the high priest vestment, he gave him all of that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody come out here with something like that? With rope chains. That's what he had. He had rope chains holding it up. Linen. He come out, somebody bust out with that right now? Come on. This is, God requires the best from us. He wants to see us in our best. When the nations used to see us travel, and they seeing us traveling, because you're traveling in the daytime. You're not only time we travel at night is when we left out of Egypt. But other than that, don't make no sense to travel at nighttime, right? So when you traveling, nighttime comes, you break everything down, everybody goes into their tent, and that's what it is. But when you're traveling at daytime and you carrying some of this stuff, right? I think some of it was covered, but you carrying some of this stuff. I mean, that's expensive stuff that you're carrying. This is not cheap stuff. You know, so the Most High God made everything. I mean, pure gold, 24 karat gold, pure gold. It's not mixed with any alloy. It's just pure gold. Let's go.
And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always.
Always.
And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. Even its base and its shaft, its cups, its knops, and its flowers shall be of one piece with it.
Listen. What I see from this is not explained, but what I see from this, and if you look at the setup of it, where when you come from the outside, you offer your meat. Then you go inside, you offer your, you got your bread. You have incense. Incense is like a representative of prayer. Like the Most High God provides for us. And then you have light. Like these are the simple things that you really need in life.
Yeah.
You got covering, the ark cover, these covering, all the material that God spoke of, that he wanted people to offer up willingly. These are for coverings, right? So all these things, it's just an example of life that God provides. He provides bread. He provides basar. He provides light. He provides covering. These are all the things that the Creator provides for us, and we have to be thankful. And he gives us even the finer things in life. Now think about any person, what anyone sees, right? You see this magnificent place and how beautiful it is, right? Now everyone can't go in there. What people mostly see is the altar that's on the outside and the laver. They don't see what's in the holies and what's in the holies of holies. So to come out and describe it, and you know how we are. Now they see the high priest. They see him in his vestment, but they don't see that. So when a priest comes out and he describes it like everything is gold. It's like, what you, no, explain that to me. I'm saying everything is gold. It's like, all right, man, when I hook up my crib, when I do my house, I'm going to outdo it. And that's how people do. You see, I seen MTV Cribs, and they went into, I think it was Master P's house. And he had heated marbles. I mean, the stuff that he had in his house was like, what? And that's how we are. You know, God made us, he put that spirit within us, and he showed us what it is to be classy. He showed us what it is to be upscale. They said when they went to Saddam Hussein's, one of his palaces, they said he had AK-47s made out of gold. He had stacks of gold. They understand the value of gold because they from the East. They people of the East. They understand the value of gold. Palaces overlaid with gold. Toilet seats of gold. And that's straight facts. So they had so many soldiers that they caught You see all that gold, they was trying to bring it over. They was trying to steal it. Trying to take it. They was like, this is spoils of war. But a lot of them was getting locked up because when they come over and they get searched, they got caught with a lot of this contraband. But that's how it is. The Most High God decked it out with gold. Everything overlaid with gold. A beautiful sight. Let us go, my brother.
32. And there shall be 6 branches going out of the sides thereof, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side thereof, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side thereof. 3 cups made like almond blossoms in one branch, a knot and a flower, and 3 cups made like almond blossoms in the other branch, a knot and a flower. So for the 6 branches going out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick.
So the golden lampstand. So it says candlestick, but candlesticks is made of wax. Right? The invention of candlesticks was like, I would say the Romans began to take the flax and dip it in wax and begin to continue this process over and over and over in order to make the candlestick. Right? But what we see right here, right? What we see right here are the way that the Most High God wanted us to make this candlestick. Read on, my brother.
And then the candlestick, 4 cups made like almond blossoms, the knops thereof, and the flowers thereof. And a knot under 2 branches of one piece with it. A knot under 2 branches of one piece with it. And a knot under 2 branches of the one piece.
This is all that you see right here. You see all of this? This is all that it's describing right here. Like an almond blossom. Right? So if you ever see an almond tree, in my house in Panama, we had 2 almond trees. We had one in the front of the house and one in the back of the house. Now, almond is not really a nut. A nut. It's really a seed of a fruit. That's what an almond is. It's not really like cashews or peanuts or anything like that. It seems like it because it's advertised as such, but the almond is a fruit. So it grows green, and then it ripens and it gets sweet, and you can eat that. Some people eat it green. Some people eat it ripened. I used to wait till I used to like them when they was ripened and eat them like that. We used to take the almond and have almond wars with the fruit. Throw it at each other because, we were kids and we didn't know any better. But you eat that. The seed has a shell in it that when you dry it out, it cracks open. And what's inside of it is what you eat, is the almond. What we think is a nut, but it's really the seed of a fruit. That's what the almond is. So this is the shape of that almond blossom that they put on the lampstand. So now most people say that it's going to explain, from what time to what time you burn it, and the type of things that you put in it to burn. What kind of oil you put in it to burn. As we read on. Let's go, my brother.
And a knot under 2 branches of one piece with it for the 6 branches going out of the candlestick.
Coming out of the candlestick or what they call the servant, the servant branch, right? The middle branch, they call it the servant branch because everything else comes out of it. Now, you have some schools of thoughts that say that this is not the proper form of the candlestick because if you look at everything that the Most High God created, everything is in squares, rectangular form, box form. They said this probably was not the way that it looked. It was more straight lines pointed up, straight lines pointed up, straight lines pointed up. That's what some people say. I'm just giving you food for thought. Just like the tablets, they said that most of the tablets that we see is rounded off. We look at the top. They said probably wasn't like that. It was more of a straight line cut. And that's how the tablets look. So it's neither here nor there. I wasn't there. I don't know how it looked. But these are just thoughts and understandings that people have out there. Let us go, my brother.
Verse 36. Their knops and their branches shall be of one piece with it. The whole of it, one beaten work of pure gold.
Whoever did this had to do it. Couldn't make a mistake. If he made a mistake, he had to start over and get it perfect. One beaten work. That means you got to make it happen. One solid piece of gold. This was the only thing that was just made out of solid gold. The only article in there that was made out of solid gold. Let's go.
And thou shalt make the lamps thereof 7. And they shall light the lamps thereof to give light over against it. And the tongs thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall be made with all these vessels, and see that thou make them after their pattern, which is being shown.
So they said a talent of pure gold, or a talent of gold, is anywhere between 84 to 90 pounds. So 84, 90 pounds is it's pretty heavy. It's not anything that, that's that light. 84 to 90 pounds. So it had to be able to be weighed down. So this was the reason why you had to use this much gold. And also was going to be something that was going to stand a little bit taller on its own. It doesn't really give a measurement of how tall it is, but you have to figure that it's not going to be something low to the ground. It's going to be something maybe eye length or maybe chest length that you could light. And some experts speculate that the olive oil, well, we're going to get to it. Let's go.
Chapter 26, hallelujah.
No, hold on. Let me see. The olive oil, you already spoke about it. Only, it says pure olive oil, right? Right. So the pure olive oil, the reason why you need that is because the way it burns. You cannot, olive oil with impurity, right? Like they sell, like you go to a store, they sell olive oil. They got virgin olive oil. And then they got extra virgin olive oil. Less impurities. So pure olive oil it has no impurity. So when it burns, it does not burn the black smoke. Black smoke is going to produce soot. You don't want that in that place. You want that clear smoke, right? That comes out. It's just like those people that drink corn liquor, they call it what? One blue flame single grain. Right. The blue flame is a pure flame. It's a pure liquor. Right. So when you burn it, people they pour some on the table and they burn it to see if it was real blue flame. It means that it has no impurities, right? But if it burns orange, there's some impurities to it. Just like with your boiler. Look at your boiler. Right, so when you look at the burners, I learned this from my brother. Look at the burners, and when you know that your burners need cleaning, it's when everything underneath there is just orange. The flames is just coming. You got either too much dust or something surrounding the boiler. You got to take the little boiler things out, the little rods out, clean them out, clean the soot out of it, vacuum around that area, and then the flame becomes blue. That's a cleaner flame. Sometimes the gas that they send into your house is dirty, and it might cause it to burn orange. Sometimes the oil that you're receiving from your oil company might cause it to burn a certain way. But anyways, this is the reason why you needed that pure olive oil in order to burn a clean flame that wasn't going to keep the house all black and get it all sooty, And this is why you needed that. Let's go.
Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains, of fine twined linen and blue and purple and scarlet. With cherubim, the work of the skillful workman, shalt thou make them. The length of each curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall have one measure. 5 curtains shall be coupled together, one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the first set. And likewise shalt thou make in the edge of this curtain that is outmost in the second set. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make one in the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one to another. And thou shalt make 50 clasps of gold, and couple the curtains one to another with the clasps, that the tabernacle may be one whole.
One whole.
And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make them. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits.
4 cubits.
The length, the 11 curtains shall have one measure.
Right.
And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double over the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tent. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the first set, and 50 loops upon the edge of the curtain which is outmost in the second set. And thou shalt make 50 clasps of brass, and put the clasps into the loops, and couple the tent together that it may be one. And as for the overhanging part that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, that half curtain that remaineth over shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. And the cubit on the one side and the cubit on the other side of that which remaineth over in the length of the curtains of the tent shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it.
So go ahead.
And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red, and the covering of takash above.
Takash. So the controversy with takash, people say takash is sealskin, but takash, you're not going to put something unclean over something that's clean and dedicated to the Most High God. Seal is not a clean animal. So it was a misinterpretation of what it was when they interpreted it from the Hebrew to the English. Now, there was some type of leather, some type of water-resistant leather that was put over this in order to cover it, because God don't stop sending rain. Right. He doesn't stop sending snow. He doesn't stop sending all those things. So it was going to rain sometimes on the tabernacle. It wasn't perfect sunny days all the time. Right? So therefore, you made all these coverings to cover what's inside of the place that's so valuable, all that gold and all of the things that you got that are of value. Why? Because even though it rained, the priest still has to go in there and do his daily offerings. Even though it rains, the priest still has to do all of the things that are required of him in order to be in good standard or in good stead with the Creator and do the duty that is his for the people. So all that was explained, you see it right here. You could go through it and you could read it one by one. The stuff, the curtain that's overlaying, and the poles, and the 50 loops on one side, and then on the other side. This is what you see right here, and the material dyed red, and the takash, which is the leather. You see it at the back part. That's going to cover the holies of holies, where that box is that has that covenant and that testimony and that agreement that we made with the Creator. So we see everything laid out right here. And you could just take your time and go through it. I'm not going to do like, in a couple of weeks anyway, I believe either Samal Zakar or Chief Benyamin have to make an explanation of this all over again. So you're going to see this lesson all over again once again, because this is God giving the instructions on the mountains. On the mountain, I mean. When we read it in a few weeks, it's actually being constructed. This is the instruction of it right now. Moses is on the mountain getting the instructions. When we hear it again, Moses got Bezalel. He got all these people working on the actual tabernacle itself, and that's when you're going to hear it all over again. So I know Chief Benyamin don't like showing pictures, so I'm showing it to you now, so that either, well, if it's Samal Zakar, I don't know who took on it, but for Samal Zakar, he will show probably a breakdown of it, but Chief Benyamin won't. He's going to just explain it to you. Let's go.
15. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle of acacia wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half the breadth of each board. 2 tenons shall there be in each board, joined one to another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards of the tabernacle 20 boards for the south side southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards. 2 sockets under one board for its 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, 20 boards. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the hinder part of the tabernacle westward, thou shalt make 6 boards. And the 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the hinder part.
So right here, I could show you here. 20 boards on one side, 20 boards on the other side. So I believe this is north, this is south. Right? You see the break. If you count it, you will count 20 boards. Right? If you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, just count it. The people online, you could count the 20 boards on the north side, on the south side, then on the east and on the west. Let's go. You got a different, because the tabernacle is in a rectangular form. It's not square. It's not a perfect square. It's rectangular. So it's not like equilateral on all sides. It's rectangular. It's going to be longer. It's like most of the houses that we see here in New York City is like most houses is like rectangular form. It's like it's longer, deeper, going back to the back, and then like how a storefront is created, right? It's really it's probably like really narrow and long. That's how it was. Let us go.
And they shall be double beneath, and in like manner they shall be complete unto the top thereof, unto the first ring. Thus shall it be from them both. They shall be for the two corners. Thus there shall be 8 boards in their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board and 2 sockets under another board. And I shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the hinder part westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards which shall pass through from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for holders for the bars, and thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which have been shown thee in the mount.
In the mount. Let's go.
And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. With cherubim the work of the skillful workman shall it be made. And I shall hang it upon 4 pillars of acacia, overlaid with gold, their hooks being of gold upon 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the clasp, and shall bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy.
So that's talking about the inside. I hope I got something. I didn't get anything depicting that. But that's in here. So that it's a veil that separates the holy from the holiest of holies, and you make that of many colors, and you put the cherubim in here. It's right inside of here. So when you walk in here initially, right, this is the front part that you see right here. Right here, that maybe about 2/3 of the place is the holies, and then the other third is the holiest of holies. Right, so it's saying that separation between the holies and the holies of holies, there is a curtain or a veil there that separates the holy from the holies of holies. Let's go.
And thou shalt put the ark cover upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side.
The table on the north side.
And thou shalt make a screen for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, the work of the weaver in colors. And thou shalt make for the screen 5 pillars of acacia and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them.
For them. Let's go. Chapter
27. And thou shalt make the altar of acacia wood 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. The horns thereof shall be of one piece with it. And thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make its pots to take away its ashes, and its shovels, and its bases, and its flesh hooks, and its fire pans, and all the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make for it a grating of network of brass. And upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the ledge round the altar beneath, that the net may reach halfway up the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of acacia wood, and overlay them with brass.
With brass.
And the staves,
so more likely is copper, right? Because I don't think brass was invented during that time. I think it was more so copper during that time. And now we see that this actual altar is 100. Let me see. Said if we using the measure, it said 5 cubits, right? It said 5 cubits, so that'll be like 100. Yeah, like 100 inches on all sides. This is actually equilateral, like a square, right? And this altar is huge because a 6 feet tall person is what, 72 inches? Now you got to add what, 38 more inches to that to make that 100 inches. So 100 inches. Let's see over here. It's almost 8 feet. So yeah, it's gonna be real long. So I don't know if this table right here.
Up there.
No. He said start up here. All right, let's start up here. It's not gonna work because this doesn't work. Right
no, against the edge of the wall. By the D.C.B side. Yeah. That's why I got the hook.
Lock it. So now, this is, hold it that way. So we talking about, this is the length. This is long. Yeah, that's the length of the altar right here. Yeah, you gotta come back and over here so that the people can see. So we talking this length, and then this is going around in a square, right? So we talking about that length. So it's a substantial size when we talking about all the offerings that they gotta make on it. You know, it's pretty big. And it's not really that tall. So a normal sized person, I know they talk about going up on it on a ramp. I don't really think you needed to go on a ramp, because if you know, those men had to be fit.
Absolutely.
And they weren't, and what they were offering up there, were a lot of times what they were offering up there, a lot of times, I said these men had to be fit. And a lot of times, you couldn't have a one leg shorter than the other. You couldn't have back pains. You couldn't have anything wrong with you. You had to be fit. And if you were born into the family of a priest and you had a short leg, or you had a limp, or you had a hunchback, or you had a missing stone or missing testicle, you could not go up there and do any of that work. You had to be in perfect fit shape, right? Probably a certain height, a certain standard. You probably couldn't be a small person. You had to, you couldn't be a dwarf. You had to be a perfect size, because the altar is about 3 to 4 feet tall. So if I'm 5 feet tall and someone is 4 feet tall, or I'm 6 feet, or I'm 6'5", I could. If I'm 6 feet tall, I could just go like this, right? So I know they say you go up on it on a ramp, but God never said. I never read where it said don't go up on my altar on steps, right? Right. So maybe they built something. I'm not sure. Maybe something to a mini ramp. But if you were a person had a little stature, you were able to reach and throw what you needed to throw in there. But that's conversation for another time. Let us go, my brother.
Verse 5. And thou shalt put it under the ledge round the altar beneath, that the net may reach halfway up the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of acacia wood, and overlay them with brass.
Overlay them with brass. So we see and we understand, like, the closer we get to God, the materials are much more value. So we in the Holy of Holies, and we in the Holies, everything is gold in there. We outside is copper. This is the offerings that we bring in. The material is of less value. It's not that it's not valuable, but it's of less value. And today, even like with copper, especially like in New York City, you use copper that's the kind of piping that they use for water. That's code, right? You have to use, I believe, copper. You can't use any to carry water, right? And they use plastic also. So what we remember is that copper, and the copper doesn't rust. It doesn't rust. So when it rains, the water falls on the copper. You're not going to have something rusted, and then like how we do grills, right? You got to go out there with a wire brush and clean the grill. It wasn't none of that stuff with this, because this stuff don't rust like that. This is copper. Copper has water running through it constantly, and it cannot rust. Or else you'll be poisoning yourself, or you'll be doing damage to yourself drinking rusted water. All right, so that's why a lot of times they use copper tubing in order to transfer water. All right, so that you don't want that to look all crazy. And believe me, that they will have that thing up to par. It had the grating, it had the stuff on the bottom where the ashes fell, where they had to pull out, and they probably had another one to put in there, because it was constantly working and burning on this altar. They had morning burnings, they had evening burnings, they had, listen, when you had a new moon, when you had holy days, they had to keep continuing offering before the Most High God. Let us go.
And the staves thereof shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar.
Upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear them, as we see the staves up there. Let's go.
Hollow with planks shalt thou make it, as it hath been shown thee in the mount, so shall they make it.
So shall they make it. Let's go.
And I shall make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen, 100 cubits long for one side. And the pillars thereof shall be 20, and their sockets 20 of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side in length.
It said 100 cubits long. You did the math? That's a nice size. 100 cubits long, it's a nice size. Let's go. Y'all do the math. 20 inches being a cubics. Let's go.
And likewise.
What that would make it? 20 times 100? 20 times 100. That's 2,000? Was it 2,000? 2,000 inches long. Right. Let's go.
And likewise for the north side in length there shall be hangings 100 cubits long, and the pillars thereof 20, and their sockets 20 of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangers of 50 cubits. Their pillars 10 and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side eastward shall be 50 cubits. The hangers for the court, the hangers of the one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits. Their pillars 3 and their sockets 3. And for the other side shall be hangers of 15 cubits. Their pillars 3 and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be a screen of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet.
That's the gate right here.
Linen. The work of the weaver in colors, their pillars 4 and their sockets 4. All the pillars of the court round about shall be filleted with silver.
Silver, filleted right at the top. You see the silver right at the top. Let's go.
Their hooks of silver and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits.
Hooks of silver and sockets of brass. Let's go.
The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere, and the height 5 cubits.
150. Let's go.
And their sockets of brass. All the instruments of the tabernacle, all the instruments of the tabernacle in all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So I know I kind of went fast on that, but the pictures explain it. I mean, it explains itself. I don't have to over-explain and try to break down everything and every knot and every flower. But being when I was younger, these portions I just used to be like, I don't really want to do these portions. I really don't want to. I don't want to waste time on this. But the older you get, you want to gain more understanding of what is it that you're reading. So therefore, it becomes exciting to do this and to go over it and to study it. It might not seem exciting to some people. Some people might just look at it and be like, "Oh, we just going through the motions and we're just going through this stuff. This stuff is boring." But for us, the people who study Torah, and this is intriguing. If you are an architect, you should be trying to make little scale-sized models of this stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Like, let me see how it will lay out. Let me do the floor plans. Now let me try to build it. There's a guy out there called the Tabernacle Man. White guy. It's funny, but him and his son, they built an actual tabernacle, and you could see a life-size tabernacle of the actual tabernacle that we hear about in the Tanakh. Now, a lot of it is coming from your own memory, but a lot of it is going into scriptures and reading and try to see what the Jewish sages say about it and all that. But he gathered all this information, and if you listen to him, he's pretty good in what he's explaining. He's not, besides the fact that he's a white guy, if you could look past that, you could see that he just gets into explaining what the tabernacle is, the purpose of the tabernacle, and the purpose of all the instruments and everything that's in it. It's like he was explaining that to burn the olive oil overnight, it would take about 40 ounces of olive oil to burn for it to last. So this was trial and error. He had to actually burn this thing and see how many ounces of pure olive oil was going to be able to burn, through the night or whatever, And then most people say that the middle stem stayed lighted because you wanted to continue, to light that fire with the other ones as they were cleaning the other ones, because you build up little sediments and stuff like that. So you got to take out like the little remaining olive oil that's in there, clean up the little cups and all that stuff, and make sure that everything is burning right. So you wanted to be able to relight those other stems while you were doing this cleaning of everything. So it was an operation. It wasn't just it was an actual job. Like, you know how custodians come to a school and he has to clean certain things every day, and they have to go over certain things, and because God required this of them. And when we begin to see the priesthood, and as they grow, now you can have shifts of people coming in and doing these things in the temple, when it became, even bigger. And the people will come in, and now the more sons you have, the more children you have. Now you have cousins probably going in there, and people taking care of certain things, not missing a spot. You had some parents that did the white glove test. If you a military child and you go back far enough, you probably had a father or a mother, somebody that put on a white glove, and they just went over everything like this. And if it was any dust or anything black came back, they tell you, do it all over again. Do it all over again. So Most High God required this of us. When we went in there, we kept that place up. We kept it clean. We kept it looking up to par, and we kept it shining. When that gold get dull, you shine it up. You make it look good. So give glory to the Most High King. I'm thankful to the Most High for all things and everything, and I pray that the Most High will continue to bless us with understanding and with wisdom. And I pray that the Most High God will be with us all. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This time, can you close out for me, Maureen? Yeah.